Teachers, in this eSchool training video, we are going to be going over creating assignments. We have already created categories inside of our gradebook, so the next step is to create an assignment. To do this, all you need to do is find the class that you want to create the assignment for. Scroll over and find the icon that looks like a gradebook with a pencil. Click there. You will see the gradebook pops up with my students, but I do not have any grades or assignments currently. To create an assignment, I come to the top right icon that looks like a paper with a plus sign, and it says Add Assignment. Click there. The first option is Title. For this title, we are going to use Resume for this assignment. The next option is Date Assigned. You'll simply select the date that you are assigning the assignment to the students. In this case, I'm going to select the 23rd. This information will also be communicated in Home Access Center, so parents will be able to see. The next option is Due Date. This is the date that you are actually collecting the assignment. For this assignment, I'm going to select Friday, the 24th. Here, I can give a description of the assignment. And remember, all this information will be viewable by parents and students in the Home Access Center. The next option is to select a category. These will be populated with the categories you selected in the setup for categories in your gradebook. For this assignment, I'm going to just select Daily Work. Rubrics and competencies we are going to skip, and we might learn more about that later. The next option is Points. This is where you'll give a point value for the assignment. In this case, I'm going to give 100 points. The next is Weight. This does not affect the weights that you have created in your categories. This is the weight of this assignment compared to other assignments inside the category. So if you think this assignment is worth twice as much as most other assignments, you would put a 2 here. For this case, I'm just leaving it as a 1. The next option is Extra Credit. So what you can do is you can make this assignment be extra credit instead of worth points towards the average. The next option is Publish. We'll cover that in a minute. Cannot be dropped. This is an option that you set up when you set up your gradebook. We suggested that you do not drop any scores. But if you did set it up to allow drop, you can put a check mark here to not allow this assignment to be dropped. Once done, click on Save. You will see the assignment is created here. You'll see it has the assignment name, the due date, and the point value. You will also see 3 icons below that. Let's talk about the center oval first, or sometimes it's referred to as the Publish egg. Watch what happens when I click once on this Publish button. You will see it fills halfway. A halfway published egg means that the assignment is viewable in Home Access Center by the parents or students. Let's see what happens when I click again. The egg gets completely filled with green. What this means is that the assignment and the score given to the assignment is published to parents and students. There has been many questions about parents being notified about blank scores inside of a gradebook. This is very simple to handle inside of eSchool. If you do not want parents to see blank scores because you have not finished entering scores for an assignment, simply keep this egg at a half published value. That means they'll be able to see the assignment, but they will not be able to see the score. Now remember, you might have put a due date for Friday, and if the parents still do not see scores published within a week, they might start questioning why they have not seen a score for an assignment that was due a week before. Let's review publishing one more time. On each assignment, you'll see this oval. If it is completely empty, that means that parents and students in the Home Access Center cannot see the assignment or the grade if the students have a grade for the assignment. If it is half filled, that means the assignment shows with the due date and the point value in Home Access Center, but the grade, if given, does not show up in Home Access Center. If the oval is completely filled, that means that the assignment and details are viewable in the Home Access Center, as well as the student scores if given. If the student score is blank, it will show that as well. If you set up the system to make blank scores zeros, that will take effect once the due date passes. So if you do not want to have your blank scores show as zeros after the due date and your assignment is published, you can simply double click on the blank scores and then click on collected. This will put a check mark in the box for that student and show the parent at home that it has been collected. As you can see, collected, exempt, and late all show as an excluded percentage. The only one that will give a 0 is the missing. You can also do this for all the students in the course by clicking on the little icon next to publish. Then click Update Scores and double click inside the Update Scores box. Then you can select Collected. This will autofill all students' grades with collected. This would be a great thing to do if you're grading an assignment that is published and you're not sure you're going to finish grading it by the end of the day. Put all students as collected and then go through and change the check mark to a grade as you're grading. That way you can stop any time and the communication that will be sent through Home Access Center is accurate. You can also use this icon if you would like to fill all students' grades with a certain score. So say that you want to fill them all with 100%, you would just put 100. Now, if they already have scores, it will not do anything to their score that you have typed in unless you put override existing scores. In this case, I will do that so you can see the change. As you can see, all scores were populated with 100. This would be a good tool if you knew that most of your students were going to get 100% on the score. You could fill them all and then just go through, click, and change the students that did not make the 100%. Now let's add another assignment. So go up to this icon. We're going to call this Business Plan. We are going to do the date assigned as the 23rd. And we're going to do the due date as the 23rd. We're going to change this to homework. We're going to skip the next option. We're going to put 100 points. And the weight is just 1. No extra credit. And we'll mess with publishing it once we create it. But you can do that here. Let's click Save. Now you'll see Business Plan pops up. It took over the left side because this assignment is more recent. I have my gradebook set up so the most recent assignments show up on the left side of the screen. You can also see it's a different color than the previous assignment. That is because it's in a different category. So let's go ahead and go in here. Let's say I want my parents and students to be able to see the assignment in Home Access Center but not see the grade. So I'm going to have published the egg, and I'm going to give a grade for this assignment. And now you see we have an average and a total grade for that student. But you might ask yourself, why is it not applying this assignment over here? Well, let me show you why. Let's open up this assignment. Averages are not calculated until the due date. So let's change the due date to the 23rd and update this by hitting save. And let's watch the average. And now you can see the average has changed. This is because the due date has arrived. So the system takes the score into the average for the student's grade. While we're here, let's look at this little icon under alerts. You can see it's a triangle with an M inside of it. This means a medical alert. We can simply click on that and it will say the medical alert for that student. Up at the top left, you have a filter. It will break down your categories by assignments. So if I want to just see daily work, I can choose daily work filter and it'll only show the assignments for daily work. I'm going to go back to all categories so I see all of my assignments. The next thing on your mind is probably, how do I make a copy of this assignment to the rest of my courses? That is actually very simple. All you do is open up the assignment by clicking on the top tab and coming over to the pop-out menu, and you'll see an option at the bottom that says copy. Just click there. We are currently inside of the Careers 2410-1, so I could copy it to the Careers-1 by just clicking the box next to that class and clicking OK. Now, let's go up to the button that says Change. Now let's select our Careers-1 class and click OK. You will see it's as easy as that. The assignments are now copied to another course. If you had multiple courses, you would just click multiple boxes to copy. Let's go back to our course that has students enrolled. I want to point out one of these icons at the top right. You'll see the silhouette of a person with the circle with a line through it. This is a great tool and something that you will find necessary as you use the gradebook. The default is that all students that are unenrolled are hidden once they are dropped. We all know there's times that you need to enter a grade for a withdrawn student, or you need to look up a grade because they got moved to a different class. To do this is simple. Click on it and change it, and you have two other options. You can show with active students. This means they will be shown alphabetically, but they will be italicized so that you can tell that they are dropped students. Or you click the last option, which will take all of the inactive students and put it below all of your active students. Again, this is a great tool to be able to look up the scores of students that are dropped out of your class or edit assignments for those students. Let's look at the icon at the top right that looks like a circle with an exclamation mark through it. It says Set Indicators. These 5 indicators could show up next to scores inside of your gradebook depending if they're relevant. The first one is drop scores. If you set up in your gradebook to have scores dropped, this icon will show up next to the scores that are being dropped. The next one says exceeds assignment points. As you can see, when I clicked it, I have a score of 101 points for Mickey Mouse. This indicator now shows next to the score because the total points possible for this assignment is 100. The next one is student has attendance entered for this class. This will show up if the student was absent or tardy on the day that that was assigned, so that you can see if they were here or not. You can simply click on this icon and see which students were absent on the days you had assignments for the students. The next option is a C with a circle around it, and this will show up next to a score if there is a comment that is left for that score. And then lastly is scores with history. This will show next to any assignments that the score has been changed. For example, I entered 90% for Cinderella. If I come back and I put 95, you'll see that an H will be created next to it. This is because the score has been changed. You can click on the score, right-click, and say View Score History. This will show how it's been changed and who it's been changed by. And to hide the indicators, all you need to do is click back at the indicator and click on the indicator you have shown, and they will disappear. Let's close the video with how to leave a comment for a student's score. To do this, you just click on the score, then right-click. This will bring up your menu to enter a score comment. To do this, just click on Enter Score Comments. Next to Comment Code, you'll be able to find comments that are pre-filled by the district. You will also have the option to enter your own comment. And if you wish for the parents to see this comment in Home Access Center, you would simply click on Publish. Once you hit Save, this student will have a comment associated with their score. You will see if we show scores with comments that icon will show up next to their score. You can edit the comment at any time by going through the same process of clicking, right-clicking, and entering score comments. In review, to get to the menu to enter a score comment or see history, you just click on a score, you right-click, and that menu comes up. If you want to fill a score with collected, absent, late, or any of those options, you double-click on the score, and you'll have that menu pop up. That should cover the basics of Gradebook, so that you can get started this year in utilizing the tools necessary to create assignments and collect scores. I hope this helps. Have a great day.